All right, and we should be live now. Welcome, everybody, to yet another Work After Hours, our bi-weekly live chat, where we cover gun news, gun industry happenings, new companies, and cover quite a few questions submitted by you, our audience. Tonight with us, we've got Builder Shooter.
Hello.
And we've got Harry from Harry's Holsters.
Hey, everybody.
I believe Manny from the YouTube channel Manny Things is going to join us in a little bit. He's supposed to be here now. I'm not sure where he is right now, but I don't know. He'll join us eventually. I'm sure. Maybe. We'll find out. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Good.
That good, huh? That was very enthusiastic, Builder, for having a head cold and just complaining about it.
We're live now. This is live.
It went away. This is
Cooper.
This is the live fakeness. Wait, Coop's in? Hey, Coop's in the chat. All right, so back over to the chat. We've got Reload Rap was in the house with the number 1. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him since then, though, so maybe he just popped in to give us a 1 and then jumped away. We got Pistol Pete in there, and Michael Alvins is in there. How's it going, everybody, in the chat? Hope everybody is doing well. We there's not a whole many different news articles going on this week, but there is one. Hey, Reload Rap is here. Hey, how's it going, man? But there is one gigantic, glaring, if you will, news thing that we do have to cover tonight, and that is
excited about.
That is the Remington split. So Remington has officially filed for bankruptcy. They are, basically donezo as the big old Remington.
They are dead to me. That's what they are.
They are done as the Remington of the last few years, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So
I gotta be honest with you. I think it's a good thing.
Oh, I think
15 years ago it would have been a bad thing. Now it's not a bad thing because their quality control has been in the crapper.
Yep. Hey, Kyle is here. How's it going, Kyle? Haven't seen you for a while. Slim Cowboy is in the house. I don't think we've seen Slim Cowboy before, have we? But by the way, everybody who is in the chat, I do invite you to jump over to the Work the Trigger Overtime YouTube page. I did forget to link it. I'll link the chat in our chat. Bam. That's where all of these live streams stay up now. So right after we get done streaming it on the main channel video is going to go down. The live stream over on the Overtime channel is what's going to remain up. We need about 40 more subs before I can make a specific YouTube / link for that one. So anybody who's in here, hop over there and sub so that I can make it easier for you guys to get over there. Anyway, so it looks like Kyle was shooting outdoors a little bit. I did see a picture that you posted up on the Facebooks of your Bren, and I am super jealous of that. I am heavily weighing getting a Bren.
Why don't they make it why don't they have it here in a rifle? Why do you have to have the pistol brace on a long-ass gun?
Because honestly, it's a lot easier to just bring it in as a pistol and then let everybody else deal with the legal ramifications. And look at the price point that they've got it at. What is it, like $1,700 roughly? And I think the rifle version is supposed to come in at like $1,900, $2,000.
What's the barrel length on it, though? It's got to be, 14 and a half?
I think it's
the rifle's probably a 14X pin and weld.
I meant the pistol.
The pistol is 13.5.
They offer a 9, 11, and a 14 in pretty much every caliber.
Okay, the 14's the only one I've been seeing, and that just doesn't make sense. A 9 or an 11, I'm fine with that.
I think it's importation laws. It's just easier for them to import it as a pistol. So, yay, importing. Hey, Lynx Defense is in the house, maker of the best damn range bags you ever done use. I think Work the Trigger is my coupon code over there, just a heads up. I don't remember how much off that gets you, but it does get you something. So, yep, right there.
Yeah, and I think he's sold out of Bronx's, but I do think he's got a couple of these bureaus left in stock.
You
So
still have some Concords?
I think he's out of gray, but I know he's got some black and FDE.
Oh.
So that's
Gray is the best, though.
Yeah,
I think
gray.
he's working on black multicam, just a special run for work too, right?
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's having enough problems keeping up with everything else, just with the sheer volume.
So as that happens, I get the other one.
I think he sold out of the gray Concord. He had quite a few of those, and he sold out in like 2 days. I mean,
what a terrible problem to have,
right? Oh, they do still have Concords. There you go. Concord I've yet to see something from him that isn't a quality, just awesomely made piece. So head on over there, guys. You should definitely check him out.
I need to take another look at yours because
you do
need something.
I'll tell you this: you probably are better off getting the Concord.
Yeah.
Than one of the right. It just depends on what you like. How many guns do you usually bring to the range?
All of them.
Definitely get the Concord.
Safe in there.
Definitely get the Concord.
That's true. He just dumps his room in there.
Yeah. I was like, I could get a safe, or I could build a room.
Yeah, I think I need to go over and buy a Concord from him because I like mine, and I can fit about 4 pistols in it. That's about 2/3 of the guns I usually take to the range.
That means I would try to fit like 7 in there. So I would need.
Okay, but that's 4 pistols, including magazines for at least 2 magazines for all of them. Ear Pro, Eye Pro, usually at least 1 type of ammo because I'll have like 22s that I'll throw in there, or that's what I was tossing, like the 22 TCMs, basically like the oddball ammo. I'll just throw that in there, and I've got my stapler in there. I've got my pasties in there. I've got extra staples. I've got my timer.
That's a lot of stuff for the small range bag.
Massive amount of stuff for a standard size range bag, like massive. And then not only that, but you've got a friggin' a shooting mat that comes out of the front pocket. Hot damn!
Check out. We did a video this weekend that he uploaded recently to his YouTube channel. We go over everything in my range bag, and I think that you talk about the stapler and stuff. I probably need to move my stapler and pasties out of my. I've got one of those ammo cans in the back of my truck, like one of those little MTM setups. I probably need to move all that stuff out of there into my Concord because I've got the room.
Nice.
So that's a pretty good idea.
I would.
You convinced me. I'm going to get one sometime.
It's going to happen.
In black multicam.
Oh, I will beat you on the knees. So, shooting out from New England here. How's it going, man? Got Anthony is in the house.
Did you shove your Strybog in it, Harry?
Yes.
What's wrong with that? That's the entire point of a Strybog. It's 12.5 inches long.
I will say it was just a little bit big, but I'm going to blame that on the 3-lug adapter mount.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
because that adds like an inch and a half.
Yeah.
So I got on Amazon, and I got the cheapest, it's like a canvas bag.
Hooker.
Like a backpack. And I was looking for like the most hipster thing that nobody would ever suspect a Strybog to be in. And I bought it, and my Strybog fits in it perfectly. And it's just like a canvas with leather straps on it. I mean, totally hipster, beta male kind of thing. Strybog fits perfectly in it. I love it.
Hey, if you're carrying something like that, you want to look like you're a hipster beta male.
Yeah.
You want to be the last one they serve.
8-inch barrel 9mm right behind me.
Yep.
Oh, so what do you guys think about all the Remington buyout?
Wait just a second. I was in the process of jumping to that when I noticed that my thing changed, and so we got it. It's the news intro, Harry. Thanks for watching the show. Jeez. Looking around like you don't know what's going on. I tell you what. All right, so heading back over to hey, Jordan's in the house. How's it going, man? Heading back over to our news. So, Remington has officially been determined that they're going to be split up. The sales aren't final, but they do have buyers for each section. We're going to go over what each one of those sections are and who the prospective buyers are. So, first up, we've got Remington Firearms, which includes the Remington main plant, the handgun and barrel factory, and everything included inside it, including inventory, machinery, and I'm assuming the rights to the workforce. Okay, so for most of these, they've got a primary buyer and then basically a backup buyer. If the terms and services and funding and everything can't go through for the first one, it'll fall back to the second one. So for Remington itself, the firearms and all that stuff I just listed, the primary buyer is a company called Round Hill Group LLC. Now, here's the interesting part on this one. This is a property management group, which I don't get it. I'm worried that they're buying because I believe that this section of the deal only went for like $16 million or something like that. So they're getting all of this
probably
stuff.
Buying just the whatever little equities left.
They're buying the property, but it says that they're buying the Remington Firearms name. I'm worried that the Remington Firearms name is just going to go away because they're buying the property and the value of the equity within that company rather than the company name itself, because you would think that the Remington company name, the rights to the 700, the 870s, the just all of those, you
597.
Shut it. Like the R1's a decent 1911. Like,
yeah,
the rights to all of those would go for drastically more than $16 million.
Well, what about all the machinery and?
Yeah,
I mean, $16 million bucks.
16 million, or one machine could be $1 million.
I mean, if you look at the just the value of their warehouse space and that sort of thing, with nothing in there, no infrastructure, $16 million bucks is probably a fraction of what they're sitting on in all their different locations. They're actually, one of their headquarters is like 1 to 2 counties over. They used to lease like a 2,000 acre hunting farm from some people I know in the county next to me. So Remington has a lot of assets in this area and in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot in Alabama, which I think, and they've got a lot up in New York. I mean, 16 million. Those people must also be grabbing the debt, is all I can think.
Jordan says that they also get the liabilities and debt of the company,
yeah.
but they don't get the debt though. That's the debt was wiped with the bankrupt. Most of the debt was wiped with the bankruptcy ruling. So they're getting, and now they will get the liabilities, but if they stop manufacturing the product and they don't have any of the support for that, then I'm pretty sure that they're not going to be. I mean,
if their company is still Remington Arms Company, it was just proven recently that you can obviously sue the firearms manufacturer for misuse of their product. Then if they're still Remington Arms Company, you can still sue them. And
how has nobody sued Ford for all of the crowds that Mustangs ran into yet?
Dude, I'm just waiting for my wife's Explorer to die. And then Ford's getting a lawsuit.
Mm-mm. Damn it, Ford.
Now, I will say this company, even though they might be an asset management company, you never know with the surge in the firearms market if they're not just some company thinking they can get into the game.
Yeah, a holding company, essentially.
Yeah.
Right, trying to get in, turn a quick buck. And that may very well be true. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that this could go. I'm just concerned that they bought it specifically for the property. They are going to shell the company, sell the stuff, and then try to sell off the name. Which
the secondary buyer makes me nervous too, though.
Huntsman's Holding? Who is Huntsman Holding? Oh, Century Arms.
Century Arms. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to any of the Century Arms AKs, that have been coming out for the past few years, but their quality control is worse than Remington.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't know if their quality control is worse. I think their specs
are
worse. Their design.
Your product coming out is pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of their product is not designed to make it past a certain. They seem to run well
Which
within what they're
AKs in
designed to do.
general were originally not designed to last for a very long time. They were a purpose-built gun. But nowadays you have people that'll run 8, 9, 10,000 rounds a year out of a gun, and AKs just typically can't hold up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Century's having issues a lot sooner than that, though.
Yeah, they're like 3,000.
Yeah. So, honestly, I like the fact that Marlin. I like the rest of where the rest of the companies are going. Frankly.
Oh, I'm so
I was going to say
Marlin.
Remington is the only name in there. The Remington's Firearms section is the only one that I'm concerned about. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and go to number 2. So, next up, we've got Marlin. Marlin has had a long tradition of building pretty good firearms.
They were bought by a company that does too.
Yes. So their primary buyer is Sturm Ruger and Company, which is Ruger Firearms. So it looks like Ruger is going to be taking over the Marlin brand. What do you guys think about that?
So Ruger, I mean, they came out with a statement. They put it on their Instagram, and they were saying how happy they were to incorporate Marlin into their business. And it was, from how I read it at least, it appeared that Marlin was going to stay Marlin, which when Remington bought stuff, like when Remington bought Bushmaster wasn't Bushmaster.
Mm-hmm.
But when Ruger bought Marlin, it sounds like they're going to stay Marlin Firearms. They're going to continue making it. Said, "Long live the lever gun." That's all I needed to hear. I don't care if my lever gun says Ruger or if it says Marlin on it. As long as it's a model 1895 CB and I can buy it, I'm going to be a happy camper. So, and
now
Ruger has a good warranty too, and Marlin does.
I'm going to say this. I hope that Ruger runs it somewhat similar to what Remington did, where they kept it as a. Am I getting feedback? Okay. Where they kept it as a separate company.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think Ruger needs to remain separate from Marlin, but I'll say this about Ruger has done a very good job of they've got their lower end stuff and their high end stuff. They do have some items that could fall in the middle, but they have some real, I think of number ones. I think of the, model 77s, the Hawkeyes, all that sort of stuff, the revolvers, all very nice heirloom quality weapons. Like 100% one of the few major brands. Like I don't think Smith & Wesson really makes heirloom quality stuff that is under $1,000. Ruger does.
Yeah.
Remington, that's gone, obviously. So you've kind of got your 3 big brands right there.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Ruger does get it and that Savage doesn't end up taking the top place, depending on how due diligence goes, because I don't necessarily have the faith in Savage. I think they'd cheapen it.
I was going to say, my only concern with Savage is that they would use the intellectual property and try to undercut the rest of the lever gun world, which you're not going to undercut Rossi. You're not going to undercut. They're about the lowest you can go. But that being said, Savage and Ruger have both done a hell of a job with rifles over the last 3 or 4 years. Ruger especially has completely changed their rifle game over the last 3 or 4 years. They've got a really good line of precision riflery. So we can see by that their quality control is at least better than Remington, obviously. And you're going to get that same thing with Savage. Again, I agree with you, Harry, that the going to Savage, you might get a cheapened product, but they might maintain it as its own brand and then try to expand on that with some lower end Marlins coming in, which wouldn't be the worst thing. But I do also agree that it will be nice if Ruger would maintain it as its own company, and not merge it into the Ruger brand and have Ruger lever guns, and not try to expand it like a like Chevy Pontiac thing.
Now, Now, I'll also say this: Ruger does something really well that Marlin has not. And for one, they're pretty good at production, keeping their production numbers up and scaling to demand. And they're also really good at coming out with these pretty cool distributor exclusives or moving when the market desires something. And
they are very good at that.
That's true. I will say Ruger is probably the most mobile of the larger gun companies. They can create way faster than the other gun companies are. I was watching the Gun Collective a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Smith & Wesson. They were bringing out the optics ready pistols, and he said something about them being able to bring product to market quick. And I'm like, that pistol is 4 years overdue. But Ruger really does pull that off relatively well. Now, they've not gone the optics route, more or less. Like
They have a great platform for that, though.
Right. I was going to say, like, that's not where Ruger shines. Ruger doesn't make, it doesn't make a Glock 19 targeted gun. They don't have a gun. I mean, the American kind of, but
the Security 9's as close as you're going to get.
Right.
But
and that's a $315 gun.
And I mean, I think we all agree the 5.7 Ruger, the Ruger 5.7, is the closest thing they have to a gun that people that want optics would actually want that gun.
Yeah.
So
the 5.7 is probably the Ruger that has surprised me the most over the last. Well, I mean, it's been a long time since Ruger has like downright surprised me. Like the Security 9 and the like those. I saw
10mm match champion surprised me.
Okay, yeah. But
Ruger, like the match champion, is a perfect example, though. I think hopefully Ruger will take some of that culture and add it into the lever gun line.
Yeah.
And give us some cool offerings that aren't that Mossberg, tactical lever gun. Will give us some tasteful, modernized lever gun offerings.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited about that one.
What you were saying with Savage, I think Savage would probably end up absorbing the company, but I don't know that they would cheapen it because just the quality control that Savage has been putting out over the past couple of years, as far as like when they dropped their ARs, they were very patient about it because they wanted to turn out a rifle with a really good barrel because they're to the point now where with Remington falling off, kind of, they are the rifle that is the accurate, budget-friendly rifle, and they have higher-end offerings too. So they like being the accurate rifle. So I don't know that they would cheapen it, but I do think they would absorb Marlin.
Savage is really good at doing bolt guns.
Yes, they are.
They've basically got one gun they've managed to turn into 200 different models. And they're very good at that. And once they get away from that, though, I'm just not sure how it will play out. Kind of like when Colt tried to get into doing non-1911 semi-automatic pistols.
Did that happen?
Yeah, back in the late 90s.
What the hell did they make?
They bought a gun that Knight's Armament designed.
Oh,
yeah,
it
was a complete failure.
I will say my Colt Huntsman is one of the best shooting 22 long rifle pistols ever.
And Colt also tried importing CZs at one point in the late 90s.
Huh.
So there's somewhat
Huntsman.
What?
I've never shot that Huntsman.
You haven't?
No, we need to fix that.
We do need to fix that. We need to go shooting.
Yeah, you bring the ammo.
Sometime. Right. It'll only be 22s. That's what we're doing.
So what do you guys think about Barnes getting bought by Sierra?
I'm excited for that. I think those are two great projectile manufacturers.
Yeah.
I hope that they stay with because they're two great projectile manufacturers, but they also have two different variations of getting the same thing done. Sierra typically has lead in their projectiles, and Barnes typically has no lead. So if they can keep them separate like that and not just dissolve it or whatever, I think that'd be fantastic because, I mean, both of those projectiles are fantastic.
Well, and who was loading most of the barn? I mean, it was only Remington companies that were loading the Barnes ammo, right?
Probably. I don't know. I've got 2,000 rounds of it.
Because I went through and Because I went through and looked at some of the. You have 2,000 rounds of Barnes.
No. I have 2,000 projectiles of Barnes. I've got 1,000 115s and 1,000 124s.
Okay. What I'm mostly interested in, honestly, is the rifle ammo, the 300 Blackout 5.56.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been hesitant to get their factory ammo because everybody essentially says the projectiles perform great, but the velocity is inconsistent, and you might have issues with the primer not being set right. Just general quality control coming out of a Remington factory.
That's who loads a lot of Barnes. That's I'm not even going to pronounce that name, but it's in the comments.
Okay.
So Sarksivist. Wait, something SVT.
Must drive a yeah, what? The 308 and the 4570 projectiles. Those are the two Barnes projectiles that I've been interested in, and both of those reviews are fantastic. I mean, people are getting sub-MOA groups out of a Marlin 1895 with Barnes projectiles.
Yeah. You can't – I think Sierra is a great choice, and honestly, I think if Barnes – I don't know if the previous owners, before they sold out to Freedom Group or what, are coming in, but I think that'd be a great option as well.
I feel like didn't I see somewhere in here that Federal – wasn't Federal or somebody on this list somewhere?
Federal was up Vista Outdoors, up top.
Okay.
For this general Remington ammunition.
Yeah.
And
we missed that one. I marked that one off. Okay, I was going to say, because I was pretty sure that Vista had, or that Federal had put in something for that. So yeah, let's jump up to that one really quick. So Remington Ammunition, which is the, as Paul Harrell would say, Remington green and white box. Anyway. So their primary sales is Vista Outdoors, who is the owner of Federal, Spear, CCI, and other. I think that's all the ammo, but tons of crap. What gun companies does Vista own? Is that? I can never remember.
I want to say CVA, but I don't think that's right.
The secondary is SIG, so I'm assuming their ammunition department. I'm gonna take a look really quick and see what companies fall under Vista Outdoors.
So my only problem with that is you would then have Remington Ammo, you would have Federal, and you'd have CCI.
Yep.
And those are three major primer manufacturers.
Yes.
And now you have all three of those owned by the same company. And there's only like 4 primer manufacturers. So I don't think that's a good idea myself. But that's me as one person.
Blazer. They own Blazer too.
Okay. I would like to see SIG purchase them and maybe put out some more budget. Not that SIG's expensive ammo by any means, but
no, they've got actually some pretty good priced.
Make like a yellow and black box instead of green and white.
SIG is kind of trying to be like that medium. Mm-hmm. Like their low end is more like a medium end.
And they do make good ammo. It's quality. I've shot a couple hundred rounds of their 10 millimeter, and it's nice and toasty. I mean, it just does a good job. And the ball ammo is loaded to the same specs as the hollow point.
So they kind of do the spear stuff with where you should have same point of aim, point of impact.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Vista Outdoors and how they do things. I really don't have a problem. I understand your concerns with the primers being an issue. And isn't Vista publicly traded?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I mean, that would open them up to some sort of Bloomberg intervention, potentially. Whereas if they're completely privately traded, it just depends on how the stock's set up, who's got majority ownership, that sort of thing.
I remember the Vista booth at NRAM last year was freaking Gantic.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a train coming by. Watch out. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got DPMS, H&R, Storm Lake, AAC, and Parker. They only have one buyer in line for that, and that is JJE Capital Holdings, also known as Palmetto State Armory. So what do you guys think about PSA grabbing onto the likes of DPMS and the others?
Good.
I'm trying to figure out why DPMS. Did they just throw that in for free, or maybe like they even took a little bit off for including that?
For
Because
including
DPMS.
Oh, does PSA make their own AR right now?
Yes,
they do make their own AR.
they make almost everything in house.
Okay. Well, because I know they had their AK. I know they've got the dagger coming out. I didn't know how much of the AR they actually make.
They're machining their own receivers, to my understanding. They're pretty much everything, but the small parts that are just made in like millions and millions quantity wise, and they're never going to be able to justify having the machinery to.
Now they can. Now they just bought the machinery, maybe. I mean, other than
DPMS outsourced pretty much everything, from my understanding. I mean, they probably outsourced more than PSA did, but this might open up PSA to more distribution.
Yeah.
So that would be good, but I just wonder how that's going to affect their margins. I mean, I'd say PSA is making a little more margin than everybody else right now because they're selling direct, but they aren't doing quite. They're still doing a lot of volume, but not quite the volume.
Reload Rat brings up a good point. PSA does not have an AR-10, and DPMS actually makes one of the top AR-10s that are out there.
They have the PA-10.
Oh,
yeah,
they
do have an AR-10.
I'm not saying
I don't know. Then. I don't know.
They have PSA has pretty much, or I mean, yeah, PSA has everything, and then H&R is just really an importer right now.
They haven't had it in stock.
That's my thing. Is if they could do nothing else except bring the damn handy rifle back. Seriously. I mean, Rossi lost theirs. You can't get a Rossi single shot. And they killed H&R. So you can get a Thompson Center Encore, or you can get a CVA something.
Aren't Parker and H&R, though, weren't they pretty much exclusively imports? Parker were like the Chinese shotguns coming in from Norinco.
I wasn't sure what Parker was.
Yeah, and
H&R
I think
as well.
Yeah, so all that's really buying is import relationships, which aren't that hard to get. And then Storm Lake, I think, is a solid thing for Glock barrels. I mean, with what they're coming out with, I think that was a solid move, and I think AAC is frankly a good move for.
I'm still wondering if they picked these up for a steal, just for the manufacturability, the increase in, because I mean, look at what I just said about PSA. Nothing's ever in stock. They are drastically behind on their supply and demand curve. Mm-hmm. They could increase that supply.
Here's the thing. I don't know if they really bought that much increase in production capacity buying these companies,
because they outsource a lot of their stuff. DPMS.
And DPMS have been gone for a while.
What about Storm Lake? Storm Lake doesn't outsource, do they? I would assume that they make their own stuff.
Yeah, Storm Lake, they probably bought some production capacity there, but again, that's only probably going to help for the dagger line.
Yeah, see, Lynx is saying what I'm thinking too. They may have, I mean, DPMS may have been gone, but it may have just been sitting there as an empty building with millions of dollars of machinery sitting in it, while Remington slowly fell trying to figure out what they were going to do.
Yeah, but a lot of that machinery is not exactly hard to liquidate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a 5-axis CNC is a 5-axis CNC.
Yeah, the fixturing is the only thing that might have any real, specific value there to only one or two companies. But
that may have been, considering, I mean, DPMS went away, a year and a half ago or so?
Yeah.
Remington has known it's been in trouble for a year, at least a year. So selling that and gaining the money from that sales only would have patched one small hole in a sinking boat. They may have just held on to that with the full knowledge, hey guys, like, we're going down, we may have to file for bankruptcy. We can get more, we can get ourselves out of more with this all included in this bankruptcy deal than trying to liquidate it just to who's it's or what's it's. The company itself will be worth more.
I'll say this: AAC was probably a good buy on their part for some of the intellectual property,
Mm-hmm.
and PSA can probably make that pay in a way nobody else can. They can probably popularize suppressors in a manner similar to what Silencer Co. did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm. Plus, I mean that is a good point too. They will pick up machinery. I mean, from AAC, maybe not a ton.
I don't know
Maybe
how much
not.
was actually made in house.
I don't know either.
I mean, everything these days are
I'll bet
outsourced.
more than you would think. Suppressors don't take. I mean, you're not talking about like forgings and stuff like that, like with ARs.
And that's kind of because of that, though. My understanding is most of the suppressors in this industry. Look at all the different brands out there.
Mhm.
Most of them are made in about 3 different shops. You got a couple different companies making all the suppressors for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business you can run out of your garage easily.
Well, I bet they watch those employees pretty close.
I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was the guy who runs White Label Firearms, which is it's a subsidiary company off of the main company that produces a lot of the AR-15 components that, like you were talking about, Harry, the little nickel and dime stuff that requires to make millions in order to sell them at all. So they do a lot of that stuff. And this guy was talking about all of well, he couldn't actually say names of the customers that they actually manufacture for, but it's like everybody but like 5 that they make these little, doohickeys for, whether it's a bolt hold open or it's like safeties, trigger shoes, all that crap. So it's a very interesting one to listen to. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Next up, we've got Bushmaster. Bushmaster looks to be going to Franklin Armory. What do you guys think about that?
Did they pay Franklin Armory? I mean, I'm really trying to understand what the advantage is here.
For Franklin Armory or for Bushmaster?
For Franklin Armory. Again, my understanding is Bushmaster they were manufacturing everything at the Remington facilities and just using the Bushmaster name the last couple of years.
Because all their facilities in Wyndham,
they
shut down and left, and then Wyndham Weaponry started up. I don't know. I feel like
I'm hoping they bought it specifically for the IP of the ACR.
Yeah, which they killed.
Yeah, but who has the IP for the ACR though? Is that clearly in Bushmaster or is that Remington now? Because Remington Defense was the last person doing anything with it.
Well, yes, but I don't know. I guess we'll find that out.
I feel like Bushmaster has been a company where it's been held down, its mouth has been pulled open, and the entire gun community has shit in its mouth for the past 10 years. I mean, it can't catch a freaking break.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because Bushmaster at one point was a freaking great company. Like, if you had a Bushmaster AR, you had a quality piece of equipment. And I don't know. It pisses me off.
Well, I mean, at one point there was pretty much Colt, Olympic Arms, and Bushmaster.
Yeah, and DPMS snuck in there.
And Delton.
That's an interesting idea that maybe the ACR still has government contracts and they're maybe buying into that. I don't know, who's using the ACR? It's
maybe like some weird European police force.
Maybe. I don't know. They're smart.
I mean, Remington Defense was for law enforcement and military, so they could have law enforcement contracts.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't see how that move makes any sense. But I will say this, moving on, Tapco, they were defunct, weren't they?
Honestly, I don't know. I was going to say I haven't heard anything from them in a long time.
Because remember the Tapco AK trigger debacle? And then
I had a Tapco AK trigger for a long time.
So that was what all the main AK builders were using. And then that's when ALG came out with their trigger because they wanted to fill that void in the market when TAPCO went out of business.
Oh, okay.
So what
Yeah,
do you
because
guys
that was
think
the
about?
trigger to get because it was made in the United States and it made it what,
Yep,
922
920.
So what do you guys think about Sportsman's Warehouse buying them?
It fits.
It does. It'll give them product on the shelf.
So Sark's SVT says, rumor says that Sportsman is going to use them as a house brand. Apparently, they've been a big seller. That's interesting.
I mean, I bought TAPCO stuff. I know Work has.
The house brand rumor makes complete sense to me.
Mhm.
I just think the gun market as a whole has kind of crapped on TAPCO so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of market left for them outside of that big box store environment.
Yeah, you're probably right there. All right, so let's go ahead and that's it for the Remington acquisition. That is all of the subsidiaries and all of the prospective buyers. Overall, I think that we're seeing a good thing happen with the majority of the companies. I think they're going to the right place as far as like the market goes. My one concern, I guess, is Remington, the actual firearms name brand, because I hate to see old brands die. Like when GE or GM went through all their shit and they killed off Oldsmobile, I didn't really care too much about. But well, I mean, the 442 is a freaking awesome car. Then they kill off Pontiac, like that. Those old things hurt, and I want Remington to stick around, but I'm not sure if they will. And I'm interested to see what companies like Palmetto and Franklin Armory do with the stuff that they got. Like if they're just getting it for increased production, or if we're actually going to see some of these things persist, or like a Franklin Armory ACR, etc. As long as Franklin Armory puts some
that would be interesting.
in the grooves in their rifling, then we're good.
And
Franklin
honestly,
Armory ACR with a binary.
And
too.
Partially, like part of me says the ACR would stand a better chance if PSA had bought Bushmaster.
Yeah, I agree with you.
No, Franklin Armory bought Bushmaster.
I have more faith in Franklin Armory doing the ACR right than I do PSA. PSA is just going to cheapen it enough to make it, where they're going to sell it for $700 or whatnot, versus selling it for the $1,000 that it should come in at. And Franklin's probably going to keep it at a $2,000 gun or whatnot, but you'll feel like you're
Franklin
getting
sells that thing for $1,200. Bet your ass I'm going to buy one.
That's what the gun's probably cheaper to produce than a standard AR-15, just based off the extrusions and everything it uses, if you make it in high enough quantities. And if the ACR had originally been released at a $1,200 price point, you would see one for every 10 ARs probably.
I would agree with that.
Given the time it was introduced. Now there's no way it could catch up. But remember, the time it was introduced, your average gun guy did not own an AR-15. 1 in 20 average gun owners owned an AR-15.
And AR-15 started at $800 or $900.
Yep. So Sark's SVAT just asked a good question. So he says, have you guys gotten your hands on the dagger at all? So this is a super sore subject between Harry, myself, and like the other 7 people that we were in contact with when the dagger went up for sale. I am still not 100% sure that the dagger actually went on sale. I've not heard a single person over all of the interwebs actually successfully make a purchase that day. Now, okay.
Are we 10 to 14 days out?
What?
It was 10 to 14 days to ship.
No,
so we have to wait.
People would have posted that they had at least one, like gotten one, but I haven't seen anything. Like, and for the number of us that were on there, one of us should have gotten one. If those just the law of percentages, one of us should have gotten one. When Arrow came out with their ODG anodized sets, they had like 400 of those things. And I know I got one and a buddy of mine got one. So like, did PSA release 100 of these damn things, 50 of these things? Like, did they not release them at all? Was this just like a little teaser, like a
I really wanted to see, and Michael knows more about the back end of this, and he's saying I'm incorrect, but I really wanted somebody else ordering something on the website at the same exact time, and I bet you their cart would have not crashed the way ours did.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's cart was crashing.
He's agreeing with me. Like he's saying he doesn't think that they got ordered either. I
Yeah.
really don't think they did. I don't think that they had. I don't even know if maybe they really were for sale and just stuff went down, so they just canceled. Like because they may have done that. The traffic may have built up enough that they were just like, hey, like this ain't working. You can't do a damn thing. We're gonna have to close it down and do something else or back up our infrastructure or something. But oof, like that's. Well, all three of us were trying. I had at least two more people here in town that were trying. Humble was trying. Humble actually was on the road and pulled over to stop and try to get one, and he didn't get one. It's crazy the number of people that were trying to get one, and nobody got one. Builder, why didn't you try to get one?
I don't have money for guns right now.
That's fair. Okay.
Well, at $299, you almost have
fake
to.
Walk. Why do you want one?
I don't have to. My wife's in college.
It's really just crazy how quick. I don't buy. PSA would be idiotic not to have at least 2,000 or 3,000 of those.
Agreed.
Ready to ship.
What, Builder?
They would have had to known that they were going to have a huge influx of sales.
Yeah. I mean, you've got every single reviewer, gun reviewer on the internet is going to be in there trying to buy one at least, because it's not too often that a $300 gun that everybody is interested in comes along and anybody can afford that. Like, you know, little old me can afford to get that specifically for the channel. So, and
everybody wants that first video.
Exactly. Yep. So, yeah, the PSA dagger is a little bit of a sore subject, and I'm still kind of butthurt about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go on to our next section in the news. Now, this was an article that I had found that they were bringing up a couple of new companies that have kind of popped up during the pandemic. And the article included significantly more than this, but this was like the few that I saw that I was really interested in on this. So first up, we've got Brenton USA. So this is a guy who is an engineer for a while who decided that he wanted to make firearms, specifically AR-15s, specifically for the hunting world. So he's going to focus on hunting AR-15s, and not like, you know, popping up and trying to shoot an AR-15, but AR-15s designed for hunting, with hunting specific features. So one of those is the calibers. So we're looking at calibers like 240 Bushmaster, 450 Bushmaster, 350 Legend, 6.5 Grendel, 6mm ARC, that group of them. Maybe like Beowulfs and the SOCOMs and stuff like that. We've also it also says that he's going to be including hunting features rather than battle features in it. So what do you guys think about a company specifically doing this? And what do you guys think would be included within that, like hunting features versus battle features as far as like an AR-15 goes?
Okay, so I took a look at the site before the show started, and they didn't really have anything different with their AR. It's just a fixed stock with a longer barrel, and it has pick rail attachments at the front and the rear of the handguard so that you could mount it to a tripod real easily or set it up in a tree stand. All right, but honestly, a collapsible stock makes more sense, and it doesn't even have a muzzle brake of any sort. It's just a threaded barrel with a nut on top of it, a thread protector. So I don't really buy that they're making these for hunting features, all that, and they're around $2,000. They'll probably sell them right now just because of the market, but Daniel Defense tried this a couple years back, offering the 6.8, I think 300 blackout, and really targeting hunters, and it flopped. They're no longer making those guns, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I I wish them well, but they need to come in with something extremely lightweight, like maybe something that you're going to carry backpacking in the mountains or something for the price point they're coming in at.
Reload Wrap brought up an interesting concept between hunting features, or features that we see commonly on hunting rifles, a push safety instead of a thumb flick safety, like a crossbar trigger safety. That's I mean, the only benefit to that I could see is those are, generally speaking, significantly quieter. AR-15 safeties are pretty loud.
Yeah, but if you hold the AR-15 safety while you're, if you're slow taking it off, it's really not an issue.
Yeah.
So on their website, I'm looking at one of them right now. The calipers are 450 Bushmaster, 350 Legend, 6.8, 6.5 Grendel, and 223 Wild. Looking at the rifle,
223 Wild throws it into standard AR range. So congratulations there, guys.
Wild is a hell of a varmint round. But looking at, like, I zoomed in on the rifle, it's got the rear takedown pin is one of those big knobbed ones that you can grab with your fingers and pull out.
Yep.
It's got a Magpul MOE rifle stock. It's got a Hogue finger groove grip. It's got a different trigger in it.
Looks like it has a pretty decent ambi safety on it.
It does. It had decent ambi safety. The only problem with that is when you run an ambi safety as a lefty and use that stupid or have that stupid takedown pin, you can't use your safety. But it does appear to have, I can't tell because the camo's in the way. It doesn't look like it has a forward assist. It still has the dust cover. It looks like a damn near pencil barrel.
Nah, that's a pretty thick barrel from the one I'm looking at.
It's 18-inch profile heavy.
I'm looking at the 18-inch, but I'm looking at how it flares up into the.
That flare is
threads.
That's the thread protector.
Okay.
You're looking at the 18-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Remington made these, and obviously it didn't turn out well.
Yeah, Remington, Daniel Defense. A couple have tried it. Like, if you're going to approach the hunting market, you don't just throw camo on a fixed stock AR and call it a day. You need to come in with something that weighs 5 pounds or under 6 pounds with an optic.
The green one's pretty, though.
This does not look like it weighs under 6 pounds.
No, I think it weighs. Yeah, the trigger is 7.2 pounds.
Stock. I own that stock, and it is at very least 1.5 pounds.
They're saying the rifle's 7.2 pounds, which not overly heavy, but not.
And that's with no optic, no bipod, no mag, no 10 rounds of 450 Bushmaster.
I mean, at this price point, I'd rather get a Wilson Combat rifle, I think.
So the 22-inch is available in 450 Bushmaster, 6.5 Grendel.
Oh, there's the calibers.
223 Wild, 22 Nosler, 224 Valkyrie. Ugh, that hurt to say. And 204 Ruger. So if you want to melt down your barrel, you can get a 204 Ruger.
What does a Wilson Combat AR cost? Like $2,200?
Legit, no idea.
And the 22-inch is 7.4 pounds.
It doesn't. So there's no pick rail on top of the trigger or the handguard, from what it looks like. It's just vent holes. So you're not running irons on it. It's definitely an optics gun. You got quick mounts back here on the stock. I'm pretty sure you're right. There isn't a forward assist, which to me, like on a hunting rifle, to me is when a forward assist is necessary. Like you get out in the stand because you're like, so in Indiana, you're not allowed to load until half an hour before sunrise, which a half an hour before sunrise, animals are already up. They're already poking around a little bit. So you have to load in the middle of them walking around, which with an AR-15, the only way to get a solid, consistent chamber is to pull back and just let go. Well, with because I took a 300 blackout out one year, and I didn't do that. I let it down slowly to keep it quiet, and then I forward assisted it in because you could do that.
Well, and you can still use your thumb, or you could just load a single round in and not have a mag in it, and then throw the mag in later. There's ways around it.
Technically illegal in Indiana.
So, Harry,
what if you just downloaded your mag by one?
Nope, it's round in the chamber before half an hour. So like we walk out to the stand with the round in the chamber.
No, but what I'm saying is you get up in the stand, and once you're up in the stand, you can just feed a round in from your pocket, so you're not fighting the magazine spring.
I see what you're saying.
Right, but you've still got to get the ejector or the extractor and everything over it, which is going to. It just requires a little more oomph. You need something to be able to push a little bit. And the forward
but you're not fighting the magazine spring. And like I said, you can just take your thumb and push it in with that. I mean, I've done that before.
So Wilson Combat ARs are available in, now this is a long list.
All of these calibers plus more.
204 Ruger, 223, 223 Wild, 22 Nosler, 224 Valkyrie, 6.5 Grendel, 6.8, 300 Hammer, 300 Blackout, 7.62 by 40.
They've got some Wildcats.
458 SOCOM, 350 Legend, 375 SOCOM, 450 Bushmaster, and that's just in the AR-15 platform.
And they're a pound lighter. They're not quite. All right, so they're a couple $100 more, and they're 8 ounces to a pound lighter.
And they're freaking sexy.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about these price ranges with guns, a couple $100 is nothing.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you're going to spend that much with the Wilson Combat. If this gun came in at $1,200, it'd be interesting. Not even that interesting, but slightly interesting. I don't see where their value's coming in, though.
So the base price of a Wilson Combat Urban Super Sniper is $2,200.
Yeah.
So you're in the same price range.
That's $50 more.
But it is 7 ounces
for a Wilson Combat.
So it's the same weight, but it has an adjustable stock.
What's the trigger on it?
It's not missing features.
So the Recon Tactical in 450 Bushmaster is 6 pounds 11 ounces non-fluted, 6 pounds 9.7 ounces fluted, and it's $2,300. So $150 more, and you're still saving weight. Now, granted, you don't get the Cerakote job. That's going to be an extra $200 or something. But I still think your average guy would rather have a Wilson Combat.
I would rather have a Wilson Combat with a muzzle brake on a 450 or 450 Bushmaster than I would a whatever that was with no muzzle brake and a camo pattern, because none of the guns I've shot deer with have had camo patterns on them. And guess what? The deer are dead. Yeah.
Well, and I'm kind of wondering what it'd be like to shoot a 450 Bushmaster without a muzzle brake.
Yeah. That's not going to be a fun day.
Yeah. So this company, I mean, good on them for trying, but unless they really up their game somewhere, I'm going to call it a bust. And
there's going to be people that are around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to disappear as soon as the market calms down.
Yep.
All right, so let's pop on to the next one. The next one is Tracked Optics. Dang. So this was founded by former Nikon employees, 2 of them, I believe. And they sell higher-end optics direct, so they avoid dealer markups by selling. And I've seen advertisements. I've been to their website. I actually sent them an email and didn't get anything back. But what do you guys think about this? Because a lot of the times you kind of have the two sides. You got like Nikon, who give me just a second, because Manny just popped in. Hey, Manny, how's it going? We can't hear you. You're muted.
But you look good.
Well, it's
looks
going.
Like Snowden.
No. See, I don't have enough hair anymore.
Yep, I hear.
All right. So anyway, Tracked Optics, selling straight to. I believe this is a business structure that Primary Arms is kind of trying to follow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which Primary Arms does make pretty good glass at really good prices for what you're getting with that. What do you guys think about another direct to consumer optics company out there?
I think it's good, but I think they're hitting the wrong market. Like I'll tell you this, everybody around me has Nikon scopes. And I was really disappointed when Nikon stopped selling those because
Me too.
Nikon makes the perfect, and I know your guys' environment's somewhat similar to mine. Around here, the average deer is probably shot at 50 yards.
Yep.
Really what matters, you're not banging this thing around. I mean, it goes on a four-wheeler, and then a guy climbs up a tree stand with it, and that is the most abuse that scope takes. What really matters is good light transition for dusk and dawn. And Nikon does that great at a fantastic price. If they'd have come out and they said, all right, we're selling a $250 or sub $300 scope that you were going to put on your $500 deer rifle, I would be all for it. But looking at the price point,
from Nikon, or where it's at.
Yeah, 100%. Like, but this stuff, $1,200-$1,300, and it looks like it's.
They had. Here we go. So let me get down to the bottom here. So starting at the bottom end of their range. So we've got the 22 one for about $200. Another 22 for about $200. Another 22. Another 22. Okay, so here we're getting into real rifle scopes. So this is a 4-16, which is a relatively decent range. Not a great Indiana hunting range of
This is
scope.
saying it's a DMR,
right?
optic, basically.
So for sub $500, which is so if you look at the competition on this one, Primary Arms, good example. They've got their 4-16. Pretty sure it's a 4-16. Yeah, so they've got their 4-16 with their ACSC or ACCS reticle, whatever. That thing comes in at like $250 to $300.
So this scope right now, if you were looking for the direct Nikon comparison, would be the P223.
Right, which is again about $300, isn't it?
Or less.
The P223 in that magnification range I own, and it was about $300. The M223 would have been about that price.
Okay. What's the difference between the two?
The P is the Pro Staff line. The M is the Monarch line. The Monarch has the third turret, like that one does.
Gotcha.
The side focus.
Does this have a lighted reticle, out of curiosity?
Nobody likes lighted reticles.
I love lighted reticles because you can't see crap before sunrise in a black reticle.
That's why you have a Nikon.
Wait, we just shoot Nikon camera lenses, right?
Yeah, you did.
So expanding a bit from there, so we've got the 308 version, the same one. Then we jump up in price again. Now we're up to $700.
Right there is ideal magnification for Indiana.
That's good Indiana hunting magnification, but we're jumping up. What, $300 or $200? $250.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way I would buy that.
No.
At that point, you're in Leupold territory. I mean, higher in Leupold territory.
Yeah.
Right, or Vortex. I think they have a lower offering that might be in that 2 to 10 range. Maybe the PST Gen 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Bushnell makes a scope called Engage, and I have it saved on my phone because I want to get it at some point for my hunting rifle, and it's a 2 to 10, and it's like $250. There's nothing wrong with Bushnell.
Bushnell, Vortex's lower end line, and maybe Redfield are going to take over a significant portion of the market that Nikon owned, that these guys would have had a chance at coming in.
Yeah.
Redfield's what?
Redfield, if they had more variety of optics, they would be the king. But they make what they make, and they make it well.
Yeah.
I just have yet to see anything on here that is.
I mean, tell me why I'm not going to go with a Vortex Razor.
Exactly. Nothing is different enough from somebody else to pull me towards an unproven brand, and nothing is cheap enough to make me be like, oh, this is worth the risk.
You know who's actually probably going to take a lot of Nikon's market is Athlon. They have a pretty good dealer program. They are. I haven't seen how their light does in transitional periods, but their scope's clear as heck during daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that one that got with all the influencers a couple years? Right on.
Yeah,
on?
something like that.
Whatever.
You haven't heard anything out of them in a while.
I haven't either. They
The
must
last
have.
thing the last time I heard of them, Manspot was flexing on them, and that was before I quit listening.
That's
to
who had it, and then I stopped following him.
and that's why you stopped following it. All right, so here's the right-on stuff. Well, and see, like here you're seeing prices that do make you look at it and say, this might be worth the risk. We've got a 6-24 for $330. We've got a 3-9 for $250. Like, those are the prices that if you're saying, hey, we're going to save you money by going straight from the consumers, you've got to undercut the Nikon price enough to make people be like, oh, this is indeed cheaper. But they were coming at or above Nikon price.
Well, Nikon no longer makes optics, right?
Right. I just mean as a
So the Nikon had their black line, and they had I think it was called the FX 1000, which was like their high-end tactical scope, which is what those last ones that were on that page should have been like, except the FX 1000 was cheaper than that. So they're asking more than a freaking.
I mean, good for them. I'll wish them luck. I just think they're hitting the wrong price points, and if they're marketing themselves as former Nikon employees, I think they would do well to hit Nikon's sweet spot, which is Eastern Seaboard hunters, looking to hunt out of a deer stand. They don't need something super durable, but they want really good light transmission, a really clear scope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I live in Michigan. It's a shotgun only or a 450 Bushmaster, so we don't get rifles here.
Man,
we didn't until a couple years ago.
Yeah. And we can.
So that's why Steve Fisher always hunts with handguns or a 450 Bushmaster.
Yeah, pretty much, because he's still in the southern part of the state. 10 millimeter is the best millimeter.
All right. So next up is a company that actually we first talked about about a month and a half ago when we were talking about the military trials for the new military light machine gun and the subsequent caseless rounds that they were working on. So True Velocity is a company that is trying to come out with not a caseless round, but an alternative case round. So it says caseless ammo. It's not really caseless ammo, huh?
Like that half metal, half plastic stuff?
Yes. Yeah. So they're claiming decreased weight, reduced cost, moves the heat signature from the expended ammunition, and improves accuracy. These are basically a plastic case itself with a metal base. Usually the bases on these are steel. Just I don't know why. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about the possibility even of going from what we have with our rounds now? Like, so just take a 223, a 308, or a 9mm and convert the case to a polymer case. What do you guys think about the perspectives of that?
I want to know it seems like they're trying to come out on the civilian market. From what I heard, they're partnering with Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know where they come in price point wise. They talk like they can do it cheaper. I'm not really sure about that.
It said reduced cost was one of the benefits, but
a lot of that. But they'll say that, but then in normal times where 5.56 was $300 a case, they come in quoting something like $450.
Right.
With the weight reduction, I think they would have been smart to target Western hunters, like Rocky Mountain hunters, and these guys that are paying $200 to save an ounce on a rifle. If they can save a couple of ounces.
Give them a 300 Win mag that weighs as much as a Winchester short mag.
Yeah. And they may very well do that. I mean, right now, I'm sure that their focus is on military calibers. So we're 308s, 223s. But
I got their offerings pulled up.
Huh?
Yeah.
They've got 50 BMG, 308 Norma, 7.62 NATO, 308 Winchester, 6.8 TVCM, 6.5 Creed, and 5.56.
Yeah, those
I
are
get,
all.
I get the military thing because, like, I'm not walking around with 300 rounds of 5.56 on my chest. And if I could save a little bit of
20%.
weight,
Yeah.
20% would be a lot. I mean, I'd rather burn through it, but for me, the weight reduction doesn't do much. I mean, I like having brass. As dumb as that is, I like being able to roll my own. And I do have a reloader, even though I don't use it.
See, I don't think that's an issue for most people, though. But one thing that concerns me with the military thing is how much of a heat sink is this material? Because
So
brass
it's
acts
not
as a heat sink.
but that's that's going to be the difference. Brass is a heat sink, but only in that the chamber. So the chamber is the hottest part of the entire thing, and you need brass to be a heat sink because it's transmitting so much heat to the chamber. It needs a way to get that out. Plastic is an insulator.
So you're thinking the heat will stay.
Yes, being an insulator, it's not going to allow that heat. I'm assuming, here's my guess, is that that's actually why you get the increased accuracy, and I'll bet that it improves the efficiency of the burn as well, because the entire heat range of that burn is going to be going out the barrel. So you're going to get less fouling out the barrel because you're going to get a more complete burn. You're going to get less heat in the chamber itself. Now, I could see this possibly burning out barrels faster than chambers because the barrel is going to get hotter subsequently because all of the heat is going out the barrel. But that's my best guess, is that it's going to be acting as an insulator.
And from what they were talking about, the way they talked, like there was some increased manufacturing capabilities with it, and it's easier to set up places and start manufacturing. But is that just the machinery, or is that a result of the actual case technology?
It's got to be in plastic, though.
I'm also wondering about the durability of plastic. I mean, I know plastic has come a long way, but
can you run over a mag of these things and have them be okay, or is it going to split the plastic and dump the powder?
This is one of those things where, again, I think they should have gone after the hunting community, running these through bolt action rifles, where guys will pay they'll pay $40, $50 for a box of 20, and they're not buying the volume, but it's a much harder sell to get a guy with an AR-15 to buy 500 or 1,000 rounds of these, not knowing how they're going to perform in that gun that's more complicated.
Well, so
it's really easy to spend $50 on a box of hunting ammo that you're going to spend $50 anyway. So you might as well try this new round.
Another
$300 into a case.
Another benefit of going military is not just the military will pay for the majority of the R&D.
Yeah.
So if they go after the military, they're going to get all of the R&D paid for. Then they're going to be able to produce that for the consumers for significantly less.
It's obvious whoever's backing this put a lot of money into it, and that's probably their main goal. And I get that, but it seems they're trying to sell to civilians. And if they're going to do that, I think they would have been better off starting with the hunting community than trying to go for the precision long-range shooters, which most of these guys reload themselves.
Yep.
Or the plinking crowd, the plinking tactical crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to hit hard in the precision world because, as you said, the majority of those guys hand load for themselves, one bullet at a time. They've got the little tumbler roller thing where they're rolling down the powder to get just the right grain amount.
They're literally, I know of people that have Bridgeport mills. They have converted into presses because they think they're more accurate than whatever they can buy and mount on their bench. Like stupid, crazy stuff. Yeah.
So, that crowd isn't the right crowd. I think you're right. Like hunters, long range hunters, or what's it called? Long trek hunters. So,
yep.
All right. So that is it for the Builder, Manny. Do you guys have anything else to add to that one?
Yeah. Nope. Bill, do you want to go first, though?
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Well, all right. Talking about plastic here. So from looking at their pictures, they're using quite nice injection molding machines. they've got to adhere it somehow, the plastic to like, we'll call it the primer pocket at the very end that the primer's in. There's got to be some way of connecting it besides thermoforming it, but it's got to be some high heat material. So
here's an idea. What if they undersize the throat slightly, heat the projectile, push the projectile down into, and it'll actually melt a little bit of that plastic on the way in, and then let it cool?
Oh, probably. I mean, at least for seating the bullet, yeah. I mean, that's probably what they're doing. But I
guess the primer pocket side, I don't know, but
primer. Well, it's because it looks like it's like metal on the bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just. It's got to be some high heat.
Could it be a poly? Like, I mean, it's dumb, but when we do PEX and stuff, our plumbers use Wurzbo fittings, and it has a little tool that goes inside the PEX and expands itself out, and then you put the fitting in there. When you put the fitting in there, the PEX shrinks back down, and you can't freaking pull it apart, and it doesn't leak. So
I can tell you what they're doing. They're putting these things in a mold, and they're actually injection molding the case around a plug in the base. So that's what's keeping that plug from popping out. And then they're using the plug as the essentially to space out. So like we all know like Glocks and their notorious unsupported chamber thing. So every gun is going to have a weak section of the chamber at the back where it's actually throating in. So it's just using that as a plug to get the powder charge up in front of that weak section so that you don't have a blowout at the back. So
yeah, hopefully. And it's probably either a nylon or polycarbonate, most likely a very high heat nylon.
Yep, that would be my guess as well.
So who thought it was a good idea to do like the water wind tunnel?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
And why would it matter on the casing anyway?
And why? Like, why wouldn't they do it in a way such that the entire bullet stayed still? Like, it's jumping around like crazy.
I mean, it looks cool. I will give them that. It looks really cool. But that's all I can give them.
It looks like somebody lawn darted it through a thing of saran wrap.
It does.
Good job. This doesn't work. Yeet.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and end the news for tonight. We are donezo with that. That means that we are heading on to our questions. So every week we've got a bunch of questions. If you are in the audience and you've got a question, go ahead and write it in the comments, and we will try our best to get to it. Typically speaking, we will prioritize the questions in the comments over the questions on our list here, because these questions are just kind of timekeepers, space savers for what you guys need, because you guys are here watching this. So thank you. But we are going to toss one out here. This one is from Red's Dots. It was posted to my Instagram page, and I actually liked this question. It sounds like I don't like the majority of Red's questions. Red does really good questions. So thanks, Red. Anyway, so he asks, would you consider changing? So the first part is for primarily Manny, Builder, and myself, and the second part is for Harry. Would you consider changing your careers to work for some sort of firearms, ammunition, or general gun-related company? Harry is exempt from this for obvious reasons. Those of you who don't know, Harry makes holsters, and he makes damn good holsters. Use Work the Trigger for 10% off.
Yeah,
so for Harry, for Harry, what motivated you to swap from your quote-unquote real job to holster making? So first, let's go with myself, Builder, and Manny, and then Harry will pop down to you for that end of it. So Manny, Builder, which one of you guys wants to go first?
Go ahead, Manny.
Oh, okay. Would I consider changing careers? It depends. It all depends. Time, place, money, where I'm at in life. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been going to college for too damn long still. I'm one of them slow boaters. But that's beside the point. So if it paid more, probably. If I didn't have to relocate, or relocating wasn't a comparable cost of living to where I'm living now, maybe. I always I like quality control. I'm one of those guys. So I mean, maybe I wouldn't leave and go work at a gun shop for $10 an hour, though. That's for dang sure.
Right.
I'm not gonna be no gunsmith. No, but
They get at least $12.50.
no, they don't.
Well,
I mean, I've
are you
talked to the
talking
guys at the gun shop. They don't
gunsmith?
make crap.
Are you talking about a gunsmith, or are you talking about the guy who puts a Glock trigger in?
Oh, you mean an
As
armorer
you
who's
go
not even
first.
an armorer?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
Hey, a Gen 5 is pretty easy, but I
Oh
mean,
my gosh, they are.
I would totally get into ammo manufacturing. I mean, I find that fascinating now. Now that I've delved into reloading, I would love to work at an ammo manufacturer. So then I can take all the primers home for myself.
Right. All right, Builder, you're up.
I probably would. I mean, sound like a fuddy-duddy. It'd have to have good pay, good insurance, good retirement, all that stuff. But to be honest, I really don't know what I would go into and be helpful at all in the gun community. So I think I'll just stick to building houses.
So,
I could do maintenance, I guess.
you work on the machines. Hey, Ghost Tacticals here. How's it going, man? So for me, yes, I would. I want to work in the firearms industry. However, I have a very good day job. My day job is good. It takes care of me. It gives me what I need. We've got good benefits. I've got good pay. Gives me flexibility, and all of that stuff would have to transition over. So it's just it's hard because plus the kind of like you, Builder, I don't know where I would want to be in the industry. You know, like I like doing what I'm doing with the YouTube stuff. You know, like it's fun being more on the neutral media side than beholden to a company as far as like advertisement and stuff like that goes. For engineering wise, I don't know enough to provide things. You know, like I'm a hell of a CAD guy, but they've got hell of a CAD guys there. They don't, you know, like do they need one more Joe Schmo? So, but I would love to be in the firearms industry. It's kind of a dream of mine that will probably never come true. All right, Harry, you're up. What prompted it?
Well, real estate is not as easy as everybody makes it out to be. It is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do, and there's a lot of human emotion involved. I sold residential real estate for a while, and they say that when somebody buys or sells a house, it's as emotional for them as a relative dying. And from my experience, that's pretty dang true, and I'm not a super emotional person. So it's kind of hard to relate to people going through that sort of event. I'll be honest, I wasn't cut out for it, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't being fulfilled. I mean, all that kind of stuff kind of sounds like psychobabble BS, but all through high school, I mean, my teachers, to a certain degree, my family and everybody else kind of pushed me, you know, you need the office job, the thing where you talk on the phone, you write emails, and that's where you do stuff, and you don't need to work with your hands. And I kind of realized the opposite of that was true for me. I needed something where I could be hands-on, do that. So I just started making holsters, and it took me 6 months to fully transition, but within 3 months of starting making holsters, I fully committed to, I'm going to get out of real estate and do that. So I haven't been a licensed realtor for, I guess, over 3 years now, maybe 4 years. I let my license lapse. No point in really keeping it. At the end of the day, I mean, it's weird. I didn't love holsters as much in the gun industry. I just couldn't find what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, screw it, I can make it if nobody else can. And then I started seeing all these opportunities. And once I start seeing opportunities, my mind just automatically starts driving into researching them. So I found the stuff more interesting. There were a lot of challenges. I didn't know anything about CNC, didn't know anything about CAD, really didn't know anything about anything when I started. When I bought my first CNC machine, I did not know what X, Y, and Z axes were before I bought the machine. I'm not kidding.
Did you at least know what they were before you turned it on?
Kinda.
I would not. I would turn that some bitch on and be like, "Oh shit!"
I had to put the CNC. I bought a Shapeoko kit initially, which was a bad business decision, but a good decision of my learning because it taught me. It's kind of like building your first AR-15. You kind of learn how the components work and what's going on. So that helped me a lot learning about it. But I went in big time before I realized how to do any of that stuff. I mean, I sunk everything I had into it. And if my back's up against the wall, I do very, very well. That's the best way to put it.
Well, when your life's on the line, you got to make it work, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, so for like Builder and myself, making that transition to a new career. Oh man,
at this point in life for you guys.
Yeah, the weight is heavy. I mean,
we're so much older than you.
I will say this though, you guys would probably realize sink or swim much quicker just because of the kids aspect.
Yeah.
You would either literally do much better or much worse much quicker. It'd just go one way or the other because you've got more than just yourself you're providing for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also is, it's a major hurdle to jump over because like you got to be more certain about it.
Yeah.
So,
but I know people that have gone through like massive financial, upsetting or however you want to phrase it. And literally they've told me, they're like, yeah, if I hadn't had my kids, things would probably be completely differently. But the things they were able to do because they knew they had to provide for their kids.
Yep.
Was insane. Just straight up insane.
That's fair. All right. So let's go on to some of our other questions. The rest of these are slightly less serious.
Well, with that,
I know.
Gentlemen,
Right?
I appreciate you having me on, but I am sick and I am tired, so I am going to go to bed.
Well, we're sick and tired of you. I mean, okay. Thanks, Builder. They can't find you anywhere, so bye.
Maybe next video, you'll never know. Maybe one of Manny's videos.
What is the next one? No, you're not on another one. No, you might be on my next one, depending on how quick I get it edited.
You never know. Manny, has my video with you come out yet?
You don't watch my videos. Yes,
no,
you're on there.
He doesn't watch anybody's videos. He doesn't watch mine either.
I watched a Paul Hero video today.
I feel offended. I feel offended.
All right, gentlemen, have a good night.
All right,
man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm going to talk to him in about like a half an hour.
No, he's going to be asleep. He's going to be asleep.
What?
He's going to be asleep until we blow up his phone.
Okay. So, wait, Jordan, who are you asking? Why do you like Humble more than Builder? I'm assuming you're not talking about me, because I'm relatively sure Builders and my wives have seriously questioned our sexuality before. We went about like 2 years with text messaging each other at least once every single day. And then about 2 weeks ago, we missed one and I felt a hole in my heart and it was the weirdest thing. All right. Anyway, so next up, let's jump to, I think this is one of Manny's questions. If you could visit any gun manufacturer, who would it be and why?
Visit or own?
Visit. We're going to go to the visit first and then we're going to go to the own next. So what do you think? So because of my preference in guns, I would say CZ, but I've actually seen the CZ manufacturing process. There's how it's made on guns, and CZ is the manufacturer. First of all, freaking awesome episode, but CZ they have one facility. So seeing that one thing, you pretty much see their entire facility. Now, when they get there, not Georgia, where is their plant being made?
Missouri. Or
I think it's Arkansas.
Yep.
Their importing facility is in Missouri, but I believe that their actual manufacturing
outside of Little Rock, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that one their U.S. plant when it gets made, just because it's so much different. That being said, I would love to go to what is it, your Hettenbrost or something like that, wherever CZ's actual their home base is. It's actually really cool to Google Earth that. So where did you guys figure out something?
Manny?
All right. Let's see. If I could visit any one gun manufacturer, I'd probably pick someone like, I'd like to see Atlas. Go to Atlas Gunworks and see, because Adam seems like a really cool dude. I went to that match on Sunday and we were talking to a guy. He said he was on the phone one Sunday for 3 hours talking to Adam. So I'd love to just sit there, like be wafted in the atmosphere and see the shop, and because they're a semi-big name, but a very kind of still small company feel, it feels like. So I'd like to see something like that. And then maybe go to like Knight's Armament, probably a bigger rifle manufacturer, and see how that, see how they're different.
So really quick before Harry answers, this building right here, that building, that's CZ. And every single CZ that comes out is made in this one building.
That's awesome.
It is a little bit insane. Let's see if we can. It's actually kind of cool if I can find. I don't remember if it's here in this one or there we go. There's the big old CZ on the door or on the wall.
Sir, you need to close some tabs on your browser.
I know. Dude, you should see how many browsers I have open right now. It's insane. But yeah, so anyway, Harry, did you come up with one? What?
I am going to go
right around it. Yeah, like this is all houses over here.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, Harry. Sorry. Go ahead.
I honestly can't just give one. I would put Q on the list for like a mid-sized company doing really cool modern things. Mm-hmm. I think Sig Sauer would be amazing. Sig USA would be amazing to see.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna put Gunworks out of Wyoming on that list as well, and Holland and Holland.
So, Kathleen, yes, that is in Europe. It is in. Let's see, where's the name of the city? I can never. There it is. Your Heskybrot in the Czech Republic.
In Europe, the end.
Yeah, it's in Far Eastern Europe. I mean, it's a Comblock company. That's why the CZ75 is the most copied firearms design other than the 1911. It's because being a Comblock, they didn't have a patent on it, and when the USSR fell, that design just went everywhere. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of cool that they make all of their stuff in one place, but it's also the reason that it's kind of hard to get some of their models. Like they'll if you've ever like been like really into CZs and wanted one, they're hard to get. Like you get a wave of Shadow 2s, and then you don't see another new Shadow 2 come in for 3 months.
You will literally see a gun on clearance. Then go to like $400 more on Gunbroker.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I didn't think it was in Kansas. I thought it was in a port down in the Gulf, not a port, but like a Gulf city down in the Gulf of Mexico.
CZ's in.
Yes,
in Kansas right now.
In Kansas City. Manufacturing plant will be in Arkansas. So okay. But yeah, I actually like all your ideas too, Harry.
Hey, I'm sorry I couldn't just come up with one, but each kind of has their own. Yeah,
and I was if you guys hadn't come up with anything, I would have continued on because Sig USA is on my list. I just there's a lot of different gun manufacturers that I would love to go check out. I mean, I work in the manufacturing world. I'm not going to tell you guys like the exact company I work with or the exact work that I do, but we have
13. He works for Knight's Armament.
Yeah, I wish.
Wait, you're Ash Hess? I love you.
we have 13 acres of machining space under roof. We do, a lot of business a year. Very well-known companies. We do in-house heat treat, we do in-house assembly, we do in-house machining. It's a pretty interesting place, and I'd love to see how that stuff converts to firearms. So Beretta was one of mine too, Jordan. I would love to see the Beretta lines.
I have to be honest, I'd rather see Beretta than CZ, I think, just because they have everything from the ARX 100.
Not under one roof, though.
But it's under multiple roofs in the same valley or whatnot.
Yeah, it is. Well,
I mean imagine seeing hand-tooled.
So name something that Beretta's got that CZ doesn't.
The problem is CZ shotgun lines are entirely made in Turkey.
That's true. They are, yeah.
So
funny because their shotguns are known for being relatively good, but they're not.
Turkey's known for putting out some really good shotguns.
The VR80 I've got made in Turkey. Which quite ironic, I might say that Turkey, the name of the country, that's the bird that you shoot with shotguns, makes really good shotguns.
The thing is with Turkish shotguns, some of them are complete and utter crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then my understanding is, like the CZ shotguns, from my understanding, are really equivalent to a shotgun about two times their price, made elsewhere.
CZ makes shotguns?
Yeah.
CZ shotguns and rifles are very good from what I've heard. I don't have one of their bolt guns, and I'm specifically talking bolt guns because, I mean, from what I've heard, the Bren 2 is really good too, but don't have a lot of experience with that. But Jordan says Glock would be last on his list. I gotta agree with that. Like Glock they weren't even in my thought process when I was going through that.
What,
Harry?
I heard HK would be pretty interesting. The reason I say that is
you suck and they hate you.
No, I've heard like the UMP line.
Mm-hmm.
Human hands don't really touch much of that at all. Like even the assembly process, everything is robotic. So if that's true, that would be really interesting to see.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah, it would be fun to go to a place that made both steel frame and polymer guns to see kind of what the difference in manufacturing was. All right, so next up, let's go ahead and go with the other question that I posted right above that one. So if you could own any gun manufacturer, who would it be and why?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
It's going to be Sig Sauer because they've been sweeping the market the past couple of years with whatever they're doing, getting all the money, getting the military contracts. I mean, they're just coming out. They're not stagnating. They're moving on. They're figuring out what they got to do. They have ammo development, optics. That'd be the one to buy. Not Glock, who tries to go on their fanboyism and we made a gun. You really don't want it, but you'll buy it.
That crap.
I don't want that.
All right, so, Harry?
I've got an air compressor running for the fire system here. So,
can
you hear it or?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. All right. From a pure monetary standpoint, I'd have to say what Manny's saying, but from just a company that's doing some really cool stuff, I'm going to go with Q.
I had a feeling you were going to go that direction.
Yeah.
Q to me is a company that has potential and doesn't know exactly what it is yet. So it can go a lot of different ways. They're feeling it. They're kind of reaching out and seeing like, is this where we need to be? Is this where we need to be? Like, obviously you don't have to pick just one of those, but they've got a lot of fingers out trying to figure out exactly which line they're going to go down. And I'm interested to see where they go.
They are hipsters in the world.
I will say this, the most interesting companies to me, though, are these smaller, like Gunworks, Q, companies like that are really setting something up that's different within their space.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is, I'm gonna go with CZ again, and here's why. Okay,
do you have a CZ tattoo yet?
Huh?
You did a CZ tattoo. as a tramp stamp.
Just post it right up there. So here's why, is because I think CZ is under engineering and under developing the product lines that they have. So you've got the 75 that's been relatively unchanged since 84, 85, when the B line came out, their firing pin block line. Shitty design, terrible design that needs updated. So that I would immediately change the 75 line, modify that to the point where it didn't beat itself apart. The P10 lines, I understand where they're going, but I don't feel like they're taking the full capabilities of that line to where it needs to be. They need a 5-inch competition length gun for that. They need to include optics plates for the optics ready guns. Like there's a list of things, and maybe it's just because I've had of all the gun companies that I've had the most of, I've had the most CZs, and therefore I'm the most nitpicky with it. Mm-hmm. But I think that like companies like SIG is doing a lot of good things, but you notice with SIG, like they're not dropping the ball on the 320 line. They have developed multiple different styles of grip frames. They are selling just the firing control unit. They are giving you pretty much any arrangement of the 320 line that you would want. They've already got their legacy stuff. Despite like a 226 not fitting my tiny child hands, the 226 doesn't beat itself to death like the CZ does. So SIG is where you could go to, like, to me, be the most consistent. Like you could jump over to SIG and you'll be okay. But I would want to go to a place where like my ideas could actually be conceptualized and integrated in.
The problem is with CZ, you would actually have a better shot of getting your ideas into an actual product, turning them into an actual product at SIG than you would CZ. The problem CZ USA has is, and same thing with HK. You have HK Europe, you have CZ Europe, and their US arms are essentially barely more than importers. They're barely more than an exclusive importer.
Yep.
Who says, hey, I want to make this, but it's almost the equivalent of a single gun store telling me they want me to make a product, and I have to take their word for it. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily know if the volume and the true production capacity is going to be there.
So I'm really hoping that the U.S. Manufacturing facility opens up their abilities to shift to the U.S. market, because things like that 5-inch competition gun, that's a U.S. gun. It'll sell overseas, but primarily that's going to sell over here. And I think now pull that off, they would take a lot of Glock 34 business if they could do it right.
Now the real question is, though, how I think they can do that with their polymer lines.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you, as far as a CZ, if I'm getting a metal CZ, I want it to be made in the Czech Republic.
I want a CZ custom.
At this point,
I want Czech Republic tuned by CZ Custom.
Oh, there you go.
I would love one of the CZ custom guns. I would love one of those, like the home built, the home designed ones. But I think, and that's one thing that I think CZ is going to have to play very close to the chest on with their U.S. manufacturing. Because I'm not sure that they're going to bring steel frame manufacturing over. I don't think they will, actually. I think that's still going to be made in the Czech Republic. But if they do, they have to set quality over quantity, because the people over here would rather get a mixture of high quality US made, high quality Czechs made than crap US made, little bit of high quality Czechs made. So they're going to have to play that really carefully. And again, that's one of the things that I would focus on if I owned the company.
And they've got to stick to CZ. They need to stick to the heart of CZ, and not just, we're going to put this Wonder Blaster plastic Omatico. You got to field your customer base in your market. there's something that drew that customer to a CZ instead of a Glock or an MFP or a Sig Sauer. Stick to the fizz.
Yeah. Even if they did bring a steel frame gun over, I don't think that they should go with like the standard 75 line. I don't think they should bring 75Bs, SPO1s, PO1s, any of those. Maybe the Shadow 2, and that's it. Because again, the Shadow 2 is a very high U.S. sales gun. The other ones are
Shadow 2 and probably just the Shadow 2 optics ready.
Yep. Yes, I agree with that. And I don't think that they should make a single P10 non-optics ready here. I think they need to focus on the optics ready stuff. And I think that they need to expand on the optics ready product line.
Yeah. The thing that, aren't they planning on building a 100,000 square foot plus facility?
Probably.
And
yeah, it's big.
I have a feeling they're planning on bringing a lot of the metal production guns here too. That's just a feeling I have, because I don't think they need that amount of square footage to produce. Maybe if they're going to bring Scorpion and Bren capacity over here as well, but
I could see them bringing Scorpion and Bren, especially the Scorpion. That thing sells like crazy.
I don't see them needing that square footage though for just the P10 line. I think it was a little over 100K, which is a lot, but at the same time, they're probably not going to be making a lot of the parts in house. All the frames, I'd imagine, would be outsourced. They're probably just going to be making essentially the slides in house, maybe doing final finishing on the barrels.
100,000 or $1 million?
Are you seeing $1 million?
No, I'm just 100,000 is not big.
It's bigger than you think. For like a lot of these manufacturers have a lot less space than you would think, depending on how much they outsource.
Yes.
Like Daniel Defense makes a lot of stuff in house, and I think they might have like 350,000 square feet.
I was going to say Daniel Defense is a good sized building.
Yeah.
Like so 100, to give you an idea, 100,000 square feet. Daniel Defense's building, my guesstimate would be 5-6 acres. Daniel, or the 100,000 is like 2.3 acres. Like my facility that I work in is 13 acres of production floor.
But you guys are also doing larger format stuff, but just on a different scale. I mean, think about the
product line for every single one. So one of the reasons that CZ's their European one can be so small, they retool that line every single time they switch guns. If they have a dedicated line for like per gun, I don't know. I think they could. Let me see how much space they're doing.
The reason I say that is I don't even think with 100,000 square feet, just in time manufacturing, you can store a lot of slides on a pallet.
565 jobs.
That's what they're saying. That's a lot of.
It's a lot of jobs. I'm hoping that includes design personnel.
They're saying it's on 73 acres.
3 acres? Okay.
73 acres.
Oh, well, that's the whole facility, like the whole grounds, though.
Yeah.
They don't need grass. They just need parking lot.
Arkansas. Did you know it's illegal to mispronounce Arkansas in Arkansas? Just throwing that out there.
Just don't. What was it? What isn't there? Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, right?
No, just Kansas City, Missouri, and Missouri City, Kansas. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Don't.
So yeah, I don't know what size it's going to be, but I'm hoping they're going to bring a lot of production over. All right, let's head over to the next one. All right.
Kathleen's got a question. Hold up.
Oh, what's Kathleen's question? Does anybody care about the PSA dagger? Yes, and Harry and I are butthurt about it because we tried to buy it and couldn't. What's up?
And we're still getting the emails, right?
I've gotten it twice now, the bastards. Yes, Manny?
Oh, I mean, I don't care about it, but I have a Gen 5, so I don't care.
I wouldn't care about it if I didn't make holsters.
I wouldn't care about it if I didn't make YouTube videos.
Well, wouldn't every PSA dagger fit into a Glock 19 holster? What's different?
No. We don't know yet because we don't have one.
And for once, I'm actually glad that's the case because I do think they're going to put out enough of those guns it's worth designing one.
I agree.
So,
What's the MSRP on those anyway?
$299.
So 275, 250 in the store in normal times.
They're not going to sell in stores. They'll be direct from the site.
and if they do sell in store, they're going to be like dealer cost $250 with like a $50 markup or something.
Yeah,
and it's going to be $299 MSRP is going to be the lowest the dealer can offer it for.
Yeah, and so literally the only thing you're going to save going to a dealer is your transfer fee and shipping.
Right. Well, and that can really put a hurt on Taurus products. I mean, Taurus is in that kind of a little bit less than that. So, I mean,
I don't think it's going to put a hurting on them, except for the people that are familiar with the PSA. They might in 5 years, but it'll take a while to build up to that.
Well, shit, when they're saying, "Oh, it's a cheap Glock," you can buy this and buy a Glock.
So, I think the Dagger is going to the sales that it's going to affect are going to be the people going to like Ruger. For their kind of midline pistols, like the SR9s and stuff, Smith & Wesson SDVs. But again, most of the people who are buying those are the guys who are walking into farm and fleets that sell guns, or the guys that are walking into, like smaller gun stores and stuff. And you're not going to be able to do that and buy a Dagger.
I think Dagger is going to hurt maybe Glock, SIG, Smith & Wesson's M&P line. The people that are buying their 5th, 7th pistol or something like that. Yeah. And they go, "Oh, I've already got 3 Glocks. I can buy this PSA for $299.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. May very well be right.
Now, did they come out with an optics ready SKU yet or not?
We don't know. We've only seen the one SKU for 15 minutes.
Oh, damn.
And then it was gone.
It wasn't even that.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't. Felt like it. Felt like an hour trying to refresh. Come on, work, you freaking cart. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. So, if money was no object, why would all your Glocks be rolling specials?
Let me preface this question. I wrote this question after I watched one of Humble's videos about the roll-in special. And I was kind of hoping he'd be on to answer the question, but go ahead. Someone else go.
So I'm actually getting ready to build my SIG X Compact into a SIG, I don't know, Foland special, like a fake roll-in special. So, if money was no object, well, shit. If money was no object, they wouldn't I just wouldn't own Glocks. I would own like freaking the Bull Armory compensated thing and. No, I'd own way more expensive pistols than that.
Yeah, I don't see. I'm probably going to end up building a few rolling specials. I've already got halfway there. I've got pretty much everything to the comp for a few. But I can't really see why I'd make all of them rolling special.
Yeah, everybody's got to have one like not crazy Glock, right? Manny, buy another Glock.
I like variety.
It's not. This is boring as hell. If you had a dot on it, that's it.
And a nice trigger.
It does have a nice trigger. I'll have 500 rounds in it after the weekend.
Nice. That's pretty good.
All
right, next up. Yeah, more than it's. I probably have about maybe 1,000 rounds through my 19 at this point over the year and a half that I've owned it. I just don't shoot it. I don't. It's a Glock. It's whatever.
I would want a Bull Armory Ballesteros though. That's that metal frame. Well, the metal handle, metal grip, compensated open gun.
Ooh, I emailed Bull to try to get their. They have a limited specific model. And I'm trying to get them to send me one for T&E so I can compare it up against the taco truck. So we can see what a $1,200 built race gun gets you versus a $2,000 from the factory specific designed race gun gets you.
I just don't like that it takes different mags. It doesn't take STI bodied mags.
That's good.
No.
Well, it's good and bad because they're not going to cost $120 a piece.
No, those are MBX.
Okay. Well, But then you're looking at, I'm wondering how much the bowl ones do cost and if you give up reliability on it. So
I don't know. Rob over at Pop's Quest, he runs his bull Asteros, and he hasn't had any issues with magazines. And I just wish they were more compatible with STIs instead of Harry lost us.
and he may come back.
Kathleen, I went with I got the continuous precision enhanced duty trigger. It's wonderful.
It is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. And it's a Michigan-based company, so it's even cooler.
Nice. Looks badass too.
Mm-hmm. It feels good.
All right. So next up is, let me get rid of this one. Oh, Harry's back. Give me a sec. And bam. Did we lose your sound or something?
I thought I hit the mute button and I had to leave studio because it's right below.
Whoops.
Oops.
So this one is not quite as much gun related. We got about maybe 2 more questions to go before we cut it off for the night. If you were on death row, what would your last meal be? It's kind of macabre. Come on, Manny. That's weird.
Hey, dude, it was a random day of I need to get some questions wrote up, and
That's fair.
I was like, we need
I
something.
appreciate the submission. Anything? I'll go first. So my call me like a poor, call me 5 years old. I don't care. My favorite food is mac and cheese because mac and cheese is the shit. So I would literally get like 10 different types of macaroni and cheese, like freaking baked, like just, yeah, I would get 10 different types of mac and cheese and just eat every single bit of every single one of them. Did you guys come up with anything yet?
Man, you go.
I've been on this really. I would have Gordon Ramsay personally cook me whatever he felt like. Well, I'm on death row. Fucker, I want one. I get what I want. Now, if I exposed my true identity, I'd probably get what I wanted. So I would have Gordon Ramsay prepare me whatever he wanted, and I would sit there and I'd want to eat it with him as he tells me about the food.
He'd put your head in between 2 pieces of bread and say, "What are you?"
I'm not a donkey or a donut.
Harry, did you come up with anything yet?
My mom's family has this recipe that I guess it was my great grandmother's or something. That's just noodles, peas, and bacon. And I know that sounds really weird, but it's just egg noodles and bacon. So you fry like a pound or 5 pounds of bacon, and then you throw cooked egg noodles in with it with the bacon grease and all that. And I'd just tell them to hold the peas. So I'd have noodles and bacon for my last meal.
All right.
Comfort food.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to make that now. That's tomorrow's lunch.
Got to use egg noodles.
How to do it,
All
though.
right.
All right. So we will make this one our last question. Let me read through these a little bit to see which one I like the most. Let's see. Harry, did you get any fun new guns lately? I like that one too, Harry.
Not really.
All right. So our last question. This is going to be a fun one for the chat too. The worst gun accessory you have ever purchased. Do either one of you guys have one in mind for this? I just did a video on the 9 things. It may take me a second to think of the worst accessory that I've ever got. I've got a lot of bad shit.
I guess I have the worst accessory. It's not an accessory. Well, it's kind of an accessory. It's a specific accessory. It was a holster brand. It was the first Kydex. What?
We the people?
No.
Sorry, was that low?
It was a Alpha Concealment holsters. I bought 2 of their holsters back to back, and the worst part about it was they didn't conceal very well, and that their wings were made out of Kydex, and both of them snapped within a month. And you had to wait 8 full weeks for this darn thing, and that was back 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's like, I'm not waiting any longer.
Humble ran one of their holsters once, and he thought all wings were horrible because
that one.
Yeah. And I had to convince him otherwise.
Well, Whatever.
Not
This
all wings are horrible.
wing's not terrible, but I mean it's molded plastic. It's not Kydex. Like I think even T-Rex Arms uses a Kydex wing, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Or
they
ABS.
use an injection molded version of T-Rex used an injection molded version of the old Kydex wing. Tier 1 Concealment was doing the same thing, and then they redesigned it.
Mm-hmm. So the worst accessory is a bad Kydex wing. And bad clips.
Clips. Don't go with anything except discrete carry concepts.
Yeah.
Hey, that wasn't in the market 4 or 5 years ago, sir.
I know it wasn't. I know,
I'm
but
glad my first holster wasn't leather, though. I was smart there. My first holster was not leather.
That's good. But did it have a foamy clip on it?
Which one's the foamy clip?
It's the plastic. I don't have one anymore.
Is that the big wide one we're talking? Is that the foamy clip?
Wide one that just screws on and it comes over the front.
No, that was not on my first holster.
It's basically the discrete carry concepts monoblock, but with plastic and a piece of crap.
No, that was on a holster I had that I bought off a guy, but it was not on my first holster.
I
think I had just the regular like overhook ones.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So,
Harry, did you come up with something?
I am gonna say the worst thing I bought was, believe it or not, and it's not because it was a bad product. It was the methodology which I used to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I bought an SWFA fixed 10 power scope for a 6.5 Creedmoor. And at the end of the day, no, actually, I will tell you the worst. The worst thing I ever bought was a Bushnell spotting scope that was so bad that you could not see anything, no matter how much you adjust the focus. Just, you couldn't see a thing. It was completely ineffective. I paid like $400 for it, and I pretty much learned. And X-Ring, his YouTube channel, I asked him what was the best spotting scope for like budget money. He goes, that's it. But then I get online, start reading the reviews, and apparently if you get a good one, it's awesome. But your chances of getting a bad one are about 50-50. And I got a bad one. Yeah, it put a sour taste in my mouth. And I'm just saving up until I can get like a $2,000 Swaro or something and just never have to buy another spotting scope again.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I know Steve's been pushing the Vortex offerings, so I mean they might be worth the money.
Yeah, but I mean a Vortex is only gonna, like, the Vortex offering Steve's probably pushing are like the $1,500, $1,700 ones. At that point, I'd rather spend another $500 and get a Swaro.
Yeah. So mine, I've got two of them. The first one is from my nine things that I wasted money on so you don't have to video, and that would be cheapo firearms weapons lights. You can't. There's a reason that there are weapons lights over $100, and it's because Harry, your lighting is going crazy. No, maybe it's just you covering up things. It's crazy. It looks like it's going like rave in the background. Anyway, there's a reason that these things are over $100, and it's because it takes a lot of engineering and a lot of design to be able to make a flashlight not break in that. So that would be the first one. The second one is I don't know if this counts as an accessory or not, but an Anderson lower build kit. Their cheaper version that comes in like the cardboard box and is silver in color.
Hey, it's just as good as a BCM. Just as good.
Just as good. Made in the same place. There's only 3 companies that make those. So this thing, I got it. And how to explain this? A lot of the stuff fit. Okay, so it fit in the holes. But then it came to then it came to the trigger, and I don't know how many. Do I have an AR-15? Is this my AR-15? It is. I don't know if I've got a trigger in here though. I do. All right. So, do I have a disconnector though? Yes, I do. This is the fun part about doing these at my bench. Like all my shit's right here. Okay. So minus springs, because this definitely requires visual aids. Okay. That's backwards.
I wonder if Training Site makes AR-15 trigger assembly slide things to play with.
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Okay. So with an AR-15 trigger, this is the disconnector. The disconnector comes up inside the hammer and grabs that little edge there and keeps it from going forward with the bolt back. And then when it comes back down, the sear surface grabs. Guess I'm not using that one again. Anyway, the sear surface grabs. So that disconnect hook in the back of the hammer here had like this weird double lobe on it. And that double lobe would catch the disconnector twice rather than once. And the second time it grabbed, it wouldn't release. So you would let the trigger go. And because it had already lost all velocity from that initial try to grab, it would just hang up and you couldn't reset the trigger. So you're sitting there with the trigger stuck, unable to get it to reset. And I ended up having to hit the end of the butt stock to get the trigger to drop down to the sear surface on the hammer. So yeah, Anderson Firearms and their lower receiver sets, don't ever spend the money on one. It was terrifying.
I thought you were going to say the sporterized Mosin Nagant.
Nope.
I kind of want one of those.
Don't waste your
Harry,
money.
you're muted.
I just went over that.
The Mosin, back when they were like $100, was probably the most fun you could get out of $100.
I agree, but don't spend the extra $75 on a sporterized stock. Just get a Mosin and shoot some crap through it.
Yeah, get a Mosin. You only have to shoot like 5 rounds. Just bring 5 milk jugs, fill with water, and that's a good range day. That's a fun range day with your friends.
Indeed, but don't spend any more on it. I got both of mine at 120 each, and they were hex receivers. I ended up trading them for a Savage Model 10T, which has like their Accu trigger and like it's a friggin' nice rifle. And I traded 2 Mosins for it. So not a bad increase. Also, sad day, I lost my flashlight. I have no idea where it is.
Did Remy take it?
No.
The dog?
No, the dog doesn't eat flashlights. He eats everything else.
The wife, did she take it?
I don't think so. I don't know where it went. I got it out to look for something, and I got it out to put the. Oh, you know what? I think I might know where it is. I think it's by the water softener.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, so with that, I think we're pretty much done for the evening. It is getting pretty late. We're past the 2-hour mark, and I'm tired. So, Manny, where can they find you?
They can find me right here on YouTube. Just search Manny Things. 2 videos a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I think tomorrow's video is about shot timers. I have to finish editing that tonight, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I'll be here. Manny Things here. Instagram, same thing. Hit me up, DM me. I can talk all day. No problem. See you guys in 2 weeks. I'll see work in a couple days.
Yep. We're going to shoot a USPSA match together. Be fun times. All right. And Harry, where can they find you, man?
You can check me out at harrysholsters.com, Harry's Holsters on Instagram, and the YouTube channel, which will have some more content hopefully being uploaded in the next couple of weeks.
And you can apparently see him over on the Links Defense YouTube channel, just kind of hanging around in the background.
Yeah, Michael's a good buddy, and he only lives about 2 hours away from me, so we hang out whenever we can.
Yeah, unlike the 10 and a half hours between us.
Yeah, it's probably more than that. It's probably like 15.
Okay.
No, it's not 15. It takes me 13 hours to get down to Savannah.
Wow.
So, yeah, and you're closer than that. Not like a lot, but you're closer.
For me, Savannah's about a 5-hour drive. So
here we go. See, so yeah, but you're significantly more east than I would normally. Yeah. So anyway, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, all that good stuff at Work the Trigger. Thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat with us. Thanks to everybody for watching, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye.